Hello, everybody. Might not have anybody on at the moment. It is pretty unusual for me to be on at this time. Um, Around about this time in the afternoon. I'm usually a little later. If nobody joins me, end of the day, people have other stuff going on, probably Halloweeny stuff, kids, things like that. So who knows? Just see how things go, I guess. See if anyone wants to pop in. So I'm going to leave it a couple of minutes and just wait and see if anyone wants to pop in. Well, I'm just going to start yammering, anyways. Like I said, this is a bit abnormal. I have put it up that I'm live and what time I'm looking at going live. So people are hopefully will be aware of it. The places that I've actually shared it. So just wait and see, I guess. Again, if nobody joins me, then it's fine. This could just end up being like a live chat vlog in the end. All this vlog is if anybody does want to pop in, it is basically just me talking about what I've been up to, toys that I've got, Halloweeny kind of thing. And as it is Halloween today, it is officially the 31st of October, and it is Halloween weekend. And so yeah, it is Halloween weekend. Would you like to play a game? Oh yeah. Alright. So yeah, today has been very, very miserable. It has been really windy and raining real bad today. So I haven't even sat outside. I haven't even gone outside at all today. I've basically just been chilling in my room mostly this morning and now in the afternoon, into the afternoon. So I thought, well, I've got time to myself and I'm back at work tomorrow. I thought to just do a little live stream or a little chat video thing. I know vlogs I usually do on my John Knowles Vlogs channel, which is obviously self-explanatory, really. But I just thought, I miss doing the streams. I don't do them very often. And I know I attempted to do a stream about a week or two ago, and basically our complete broadband connection completely crashed and went down. It was that bad that we couldn't even contact our provider. It was that bad. We've never had it to that extreme before, really. That's actually kind of a bit of a first for us. We've always had issues with connectivity performance with our broadband provider. Our broadband provider is called KCOM, and it basically stands for Kingston Communications. Obviously, Hull's full name is Kingston upon Hull. That is actually our full, name. even though we're on the map, it just says Hull. But yeah. So, yes, yeah, we're just chilling out really today. I might maybe. I was gonna watch some horror films. Hey, there's somebody watching. Don't know who you are though, but hello to you. Welcome. So yeah. So this stream, I'm literally just going to be talking about what I've been up to, toys, Halloweeny kind of related things. If anyone wants to talk about horror films, or if they've seen a film recently at the cinema, anything like that, just a general chat really. So if anybody is interested, then by all means. If anybody does join me, there was someone that just popped in and just popped back out again, so I don't know if that was just. Hey, it's Raymond. Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, my friend Raymond. How are you, my friend? I hope you're well on this ghoulish afternoon. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Yes. So, yesterday I got invited to a Halloween party. I think it's possibly the first one I've ever really. No, it's not the first one I've ever been to. I think it's my second or third Halloween party that I've actually really been invited to. Unfortunately, I don't get invited to parties very often because it's very, very, very rare that I'm aware of them. Zero Bunny, hello to you. Yo, mate, what's up? Hey, not too bad, my friend. Not too bad at all. Hope you're well, Zero Bunny. Thank you for joining me this afternoon, or whatever time it is where you are. So yeah, all this is just going to be a general chat. If anybody in the chat wants to talk about anything in particular, please by all means do so. Let's just get a chat going. Let's talk about horror films if you wish, if you're a fan of those. Have you got any plans, or have you done anything over Halloween this weekend? Have you been anywhere? Have you been basically making yourself feel sick with the amount of sweets and goodies and treats that you've probably been accumulating and eating for the past couple of weeks or so? So yeah, like I was saying, I went to a Halloween party last night. Got home around about then. I remembered the clocks went. I think they went back. Went back an hour. So originally bar rights, going on the time before that changed. Basically, I think I got in around about 1:30 in the morning, around about 1:30, 2 in the morning. So yeah, it was a good night. I had a real good time. Let's see if I can get a few. Let's see if I can. Right. Let's see if I can show you some pictures of the night. So let's have a look, see at some pictures that I took of last night, if anyone's interested, by the way. If anyone's interested, this is obviously my Facebook account. So if you want to follow me on my socials, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Anyway, so let's get some pictures in this thing, shall we? See all pictures. Where are we? Here we go. So this is what I went. This is what I went to the party dressed as. If anybody in the chat is aware of this, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't. Obviously, I went as a Squid Game participant last night. So yeah, Squid Game. So 456. Obviously, that is the ID number of one of the main characters. So I went as 456, number 456, to a Halloween party last night. So that was my Halloween costume, even though it was a very low key costume, but yet you get the point. So these is, some just quick go through. It was, that's my good friend Smithy, that invited me along. So yeah, there we go. That was pretty much that, really. Yeah. Let's have a look. See, Raymond. Raymond, we were supposed to hold a Halloween horror event this week with friends of mine, but Dimmick ruined. Oh, the pandemic. Yeah, I don't know about. Ruined all the plannings again this year. Oh, that's unfortunate, my friend. That is really unfortunate. Um, yeah, it's this whole pandemic virus thing really has kind of messed up a lot of things. Some people unfortunately have missed out on missed out on crucial last moments with loved ones being taken away very, very, very quickly. uh, People that were generally quite fit and healthy, relatively young, etc. People have lost their jobs, people have been made redundant, people have, anyone self-employed, of course, have lost their businesses. It's been and obviously any events like conventions and anything like that, and like Halloweeny kind of things or Christmas markets, things of that nature. All of that stuff's very much been put on a back burner. Um, it's unfortunate, really. I mean, I understand the necessary that it is a situation and it needs to be contained. Or, it needs to be watched, and you've got to be careful around it all. Because you don't want to cause any more spreading or anything like that, and also the vaccinations and things. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the political things. This is a fun stream. I don't want to get too political, but it's basically, like you're saying there, Raymond, it is unfortunate. Like your event there was cancelled, and that is very unfortunate. Oh, very meta. Yes. So yeah. So that was my Halloween party I went to last night. It was a very good night. Really enjoyed it. So basically, I was just chilling out there, having a few drinks, having a good laugh, and it was a really good night. So yeah, that was that. A new figure came in the mail as well. I got a new toy, a new Transformer. I got through Hasbro Pulse UK. I got it was the Ravage, the new Ravage, the Beast Wars Ravage figure, Covert Agent Ravage. I've got I've got a third party one as well, a third party Ravage, which is basically a masterpiece scale Ravage. I believe it's supposed to kind of be masterpiece scaling, which I'm still going to keep. It's a very nice figure. So I've got that one. I don't actually. I only have, I think, two Ravages, Beast Wars Ravages. I would like to get myself the. I mean, it's very difficult to get hold of at a decent price because I believe one version, or there was a version of Ravage that was only released in Japan only as an exclusive to Japan, and the only way to really get it is to like eBay it or pay really stupid prices for it. And yeah, so it's probably I can't remember what version it is. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's based again. I think it is based on the Transmetal mode, which is obviously Ravage is obviously based on Transmetal 2. The toy anyway, it's based on Transmetal 2 Cheetor. So yeah, very cool. It's a nice figure. I think I'm going to do a review of the new one very soon on the channel. So keep an eye out on that. 3 people watching. Hello to you all. Brandon, Looney Tunes fan. Hello to you. Your favorite Looney Tunes character? Oh, wow. I absolutely love Looney Tunes. I mean, who doesn't? who doesn't love Looney Tunes? I would probably say, growing up as a kid, I probably really enjoyed. This might sound a very typical thing to say, because obviously he is obviously one of the main characters, obviously, of the Looney Tunes brand. But I would probably say Daffy Duck is probably my favourite. I just love Daffy. It's just that obviously nothing goes his way. He's always getting either shot by the hunter, the deer hunter guy. Is it Elmer Fudd? And yeah, nothing goes his way. You know, he gets blown up. His beak gets shoved to the back of his neck, and yeah, I absolutely love a Daffy Duck. And you said another one. My favourite is Roadrunner and Coyote. Yeah, I do like Y.E. Coyote and all that as well. But I think my number one favourite has to be Daffy Duck. But yeah, I also like obviously Bugs Bunny. I mean, who doesn't like Bugs Bunny? And I also like Y.E. Coyote as well. I like him as well. Really cool. Raymond, Marvin the Martian for me. Yeah, I love Yeah, he's a good character. I love Marvin the Martian. But to be honest, I love all the characters, Looney Tunes characters. They all bring something to the table. They're all funny characters. They are really cool. I do miss the classic Looney Tunes though, because the way time's gone, you know, Looney Tunes really, I think, has kind of lost its magic. But mostly why I say that is that Warner Brothers have kind of like pandered to a certain group, basically pandered to overprotective parents, and that were, because I remember when I was a kid back in the growing up through the 90s and through early thousands, and I used to watch like the classic Looney Tunes on Boomerang, and I remember around about that time there was like a big thing, a big like campaign, whatever, or like a lot of hearsay and a lot of crap going about that, trying to kind of wanting to kind of take Looney Tunes off the air, or any cartoons with what they would call like really, really like a lot of violence, cartoon violence, basically. Same like Tom and Jerry, for instance. Anything that has kind of a bit of like cartoon violence. So it's basically kind of. I really get pissed off when this happens. I mean, you got all the classics classic stuff like the Flintstones and Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry and all that stuff, and then because some parents or whoever thinks it's not appropriate for their little ones, and they just want to, now Looney Tunes, if you look at it now, it is very much watered down, and you just don't have what Looney Tunes once was. I mean, I think the closest thing to classic Looney Tunes was the Space Jam 2 film that came out very recently. Even though I don't really like the second Space Jam film, I love the first one. The original, that is brilliant. I absolutely love it. It's a timeless classic for me. I just love that film. Second one, I wouldn't say I completely hate it. I just felt the voice acting. Obviously, they didn't get the voice actors that are known to play those characters back. It looks like they were just. I think a couple of the characters were voiced by completely different voice actors. So they sounded a bit off to me. They didn't sound like what we've had before, like originally. They sounded a little bit off. So the voice acting for the Looney Tunes characters seemed a bit weird. And then I don't know. It was all right. It was all right. But I prefer the original. It's great. Smizno, Dave, how are you? Sheltering. Yeah. So yes, yeah, like I was saying, I got a new toy in the mail, which was Covert Agent Ravage from which was a offered through Hasbro Pulse. I believe I found out. I think at In Demand Toys as well. I think they were selling it, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware that In Demand Toys were selling it the same figure, because I only found out. I found out by chance that this figure was actually getting a release through Hasbro Pulse, literally completely by chance. I was looking through Facebook and one of the Transformers groups on there. I think it was either Transformers YouTube community or Transformers and such. I don't know, one of those. And basically, I was just looking through, and someone said that he's coming. It looks like he's coming soon, really soon. That this Covert Agent Ravage, this new one, and I was basically like, ooh. So I went on Hasbro Pulse. Nothing came up on the main screen as say like for pre-orders or any option of purchasing it. So I had to literally search for him, and then it came up. It obviously came up, and then it said that I couldn't order it until a certain time. So I waited until it actually became available to order, and I managed to get myself one. And it came about 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, I'm gonna get a review out for him soon. I do love Beast Wars Ravage. He's just such a cool character. Like I was saying earlier, before a couple of you will join me. I've basically I've got 2 versions. I've got two of Beast Wars Ravage. One is a third-party figure, which is masterpiece scaling, or meant to be masterpiece scaling with some die-cast parts, which is a really nice figure, by the way. I've forgotten what the bloody name of it. I think it's Transarts or something like that. I think it's Transarts or something like that. So I managed to pick him up, and I've had him for probably about a year now, nearly a year. But this is like an official version of Ravage, and it's been a while since we've had a new toy for Ravage, Beast Wars Ravage. What's really cool as well, obviously, it comes with a little cassette Ravage with the figure, so of Beast Wars Ravage. So it's pretty cool that you've got that lineage in there in the box. I really think that's a cool little idea. I don't actually have my cassettes anymore. I do have some cassettes, but I don't think I've got Beast Wars. No, I don't think I've got the G1 Ravage, the cassette Ravage, that lot. I don't think I've got them anymore. I don't think anyway, unless Ravage is probably in the chest of my Soundwave, which is most likely the case. Most likely. Raymond, yeah. Yosemite, yeah. Isn't the same without his 6 shooters. Yeah. Sesame Sam, is it? Sesame? Oh, I don't know. Fucking hell. Can't read. 6 shooters. Though last year's Looney Tunes with Eric Borza was not that bad. Okay. Yeah, I know that there's another guy that's now playing Bugs Bunny and a numerous amount of the characters now, which I believe is what you're on about, Eric Boza. I know it was the guy originally. I think it was, who kind of took on the mantle of playing that character. All those characters was the guy who played Fry in Futurama, I believe. I think he played quite a few of them as well for a while. I think he took over I think he was one of them that took over from Mel Blanc when he passed away. But yeah, Raymond again. It was a little disappointing that PulseCon had made no mention of at all of Jack Angel's passing just a few days before the event. Wow, I wasn't aware, and I didn't actually follow the Hasbro PulseCon. I didn't really have the time to. But But yeah, that's not right. That's not right. They could have just done something. They could have done something with that. That's unfortunate. Brandon Looney Tunes fan. How about Michigan J Frog? I don't know. You know what? It's been a while since I've watched Looney Tunes. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, like any character that's in the Looney Tunes, I like. So I'm not going to generalize it all, but it's. I don't know. I like all the Looney Tunes characters. Of course, Daffy's probably one of my favourites. Definitely. But yeah, so what I've been doing today then, I've been kind of I've been watching a little bit on YouTube. My good friend Sam, Triple Zero Firestorm. Basically, me and him played a game on our PCs called Space Engineers. About 3 or 4 days ago now, and or was it last week? It might have been last week. Yeah, it might have been last weekend. So yeah, it was last weekend. And basically, so yeah, we were playing a bit of Space Engineers, me and Sam. So he's uploaded the video capture of us playing that game. So I've just kind of been watching a little bit of that back, and just while if you want, guys, I could probably bring that up if you wanted. Just give you a little quick see of what I was on about. Share screen, yes. So yeah, so if anyone's interested, this is Sam's YouTube channel, and my God, is that just disturbing? Look at that. Just look at that menacing stare of evil. Just look at that. I mean, no, those 152 people subscribed to this channel are literally petrified, scared to even go outside, because this figment of reality, if you want to call it that, is just staring at them into their souls and scaring them. Anyway, so yeah, so basically the video in by chance is this one: Space Engineers Sam and John try to reach Earth. So basically, if I just give you a little look, see, it's basically just us kind of playing Space Engineers for a little bit. So there's Sam kind of doing his like checks around, and then I'm piloting the actual ship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You're doing it so well.
Well, I've always said I need a W a bit more often. That is true. So yeah, so that's just a little teaser for you. So if anyone's interested, check out Sam's channel, and if you're interested in gameplay recording stuff, then by all means check it out. So yeah, so I've just been watching that back a little bit, just to see how it came out. But yeah, I won't play too much more because there we go. Yeah. Raymond. Brian Goldner got a mention of his passing at PulseCon. A whole 15 seconds to express their condolences, and then back to selling toys. Oh wow. Yeah. This is it, you see. This is proper corporate conventions, isn't it? It's like they only care obviously about that. They're a business. They only care about making bank. And when people that people that pass away that contributed to them earning that money and to their franchises, for their cartoons, and that's animators, writers, whatever, character designers, all this, comic book artists, whatever. that work that help to produce the stuff that they're known for, and also toy designers and such. Anybody. It really doesn't take much, really, does it? To it really doesn't take enough. It really doesn't take enough a lot of time, does it? Really, for them to just give a little bit more time, maybe about 5 minutes, or even maybe just 10, 15 minutes of the schedule, just pull to one side, or kind of just a remembrance. I mean, it's only right, isn't it? It's only right to do that. It's only right. I have 175 subscribers now. Well done. Good for you. Raymond again. They had Vince DeCarl as their video stream guest, so obviously we got a musical performance by DMC. Nice one. Yeah, that would be a great guest to get. Another great guest to get for TF Nation, probably in the future. We have the man himself, Stan Bush. It'd be great to have Vince DeCarl as well, because obviously Vince DeCarl, he basically orchestrated literally almost the entirety of that soundtrack for the movie. And not just that, he's also worked on some iconic movies from the 80s and so on, and 90s. So basically, but obviously most of the tracks that he provided, they're like, a lot of them were like instrumentals, and the ones that were like played in the background, like Optimus Prime's death sequence music, and a lot of the songs as well. There were some songs with vocals to them as well. So I think Vince DeCarl will be a great guest for TF Nation in the future. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt. I mean, I've been blown away by how well TF Nation are, with how good TF Nation are with getting guests, and the guests that we've had in the short time that TF Nation's really been going on for. They've really have blown out the park, and kind of able to kind of get the guests, and what they managed to organise is just unbelievable. So really, I have absolutely no doubt that they probably have approached him. They've probably approached everybody that's worked in regards to anyone connected to the Transformers brand. So they've probably contacted everybody that they possibly can, and they're probably just waiting to see when they've got a bit of time in their schedule to come over, or whether they're well enough. And the thing is, as well, you've got to understand, is like the COVID situation is it causes problems to get guests, because obviously, most of the guests, voice actors, comic book artists, whatever, a lot of them are from either Canada or America. So it's very, very rare that they get anyone from anywhere else in the world as a guest. There's been a couple of times where they had a Japanese comic book artist. I've forgotten her name, but they had her come one year. Oh, I think twice actually. I think she's been twice. But that was literally quite rare. But usually, any voice actors or comic book artists or writers, whatever, they're usually obviously from America or here in the UK. So it would be pretty. It all really depends of how America is. When it comes to the virus by next year. I do know that America have opened up for tourism again, I believe, or not tourism in the same sense, but they have opened up so that people from other countries can now go to America to visit family or friends or whatever. So hopefully by next year, by August or sooner, maybe even, hopefully they'll be able to freely to and fro between the England and America and vice versa, and other countries as well, not just America. 25 more to 200. Well done, my friend. Well done. Keep it going. Raymond Vincent DeCarl did the score for Angry Birds Transformers, and his music is being used for the new mobile game Transformers Heavy Metal. Ah, interesting. Nice one. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do today for the rest of my day. The sun's come out now. It stopped raining. That's quite nice. I don't know whether I might go for a walk, actually. I haven't been out for a nice walk for a while because of my job and everything. But during the week, when I come home from work, I'm fucking knackered. I am absolutely just got sapped of any energy because of how physically demanding that the job is that I do. It is literally proper physical labour and work, really, in the context of heavy boxes that I'm lifting all day for like 10 to 12 hours a day, sometimes longer. And so yeah, it's so when I come home after work during the week, I'm literally knackered, and I only have time for myself on a weekend. And but yeah, so I might maybe go for a little walk. Actually, now it's brightened up, might go for a little walkie out. Why not? Why not at all? Brandon again. Your favourite Looney Tunes cartoon? Bloody hell. I'm just gonna have to go with I prefer the original stuff from like the 40s, from like the 40s time bracket, like the original Looney Tunes. That is literally my favourite Looney Tunes. But I also like did they do the spin-off series? I can't remember now. It's been a long time, but I think my favorite Looney Tunes is the original proper Looney Tunes that like when they first kind of started out, in cartoon form. Oh yes, Raymond, Duck Dodgers of the 25th and a half century. Yes. Yes, thank you for reminding me, Raymond. Yeah, I used to watch that. I used to really enjoy that. Yeah, I've completely forgotten what other series they did back through the years. I know they did one which was kind of based off like Justice League or Marvel, where they all had superpowers and abilities. Was it? I can't remember what the freaking called it. Was it Annie Summer? I can't remember now. I can't remember what they called that one, but that was another one that I used to watch. Where they all had like superpowers and they had like suits. But yeah, Duck Dodgers was brilliant, and obviously Tom Jones, that they got the man, the great man himself, Sir Tom Jones, to perform the opening theme song, which is just iconic. Excuse me. Yeah, it was a late night last night, as I said earlier in the stream. Going to a Halloween party and not getting in till at least 1:30 this morning. But I didn't go straight to bed. I think I fell asleep on the sofa last night downstairs at around about 4 in the morning. And then, yeah, then I basically haven't really slept properly. Brendan again. Go watch Duck Dodgers. Aye, it is a fantastic series. That I need to rewatch it. It is iconic. Raymond, oh Dan, Nosy is getting bored of us. No. Not getting bored of you. You just have not had much sleep really. I probably only had about 5 hours between passing out on my sofa last night and waking and getting up and coming upstairs to. I was going to get my head down for a little bit longer, but I ended up just watching YouTube and I didn't really feel tired at the time. So, but anyway, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I mean, I'm at work in morning anyways, so I'll be going to bed relatively early-ish. This is why I'm doing the stream earlier in the afternoon, so that I can get it out the way, and then I don't have to worry about doing anything later on this evening. I can kind of just relax and get my head down properly. So I'm at work. I have to get to work tomorrow. But one good thing, we get 1 hour's extra sleep now, thanks to the clocks going back an hour. Which I completely forgot about, actually. It was the taxi driver, when I got a taxi home last night, and it was the taxi driver that actually reminded me, ironically, about the clock going back. Raymond, sleep is for wimps. I don't know. We'll sleep when we're dead. That's basically an alarm. So then, let's get a little conversation going. There's 3 people currently watching. So as it's Halloween weekend, why don't we have a little chat about horror films? Let's put a question out there to you guys. If you like horror films, if you're fans of horror films, what are your favorites? What are your favorite horror films you've seen and continue to enjoy? Not just at Halloween, whenever you feel like watching them. I'll go first. I'll answer my own question, and then I'll wait and see if anyone wants to participate and answering. But I watched one of my favorites. It's not really a horror film. Obviously, it is kind of a horror film, but it's not. It's basically a spoof movie, and Netflix has put up the first 2 of the Scary Movie films. So I watched the first one last night for the first time in years, and I absolutely love those. I like the first 3. I think it is scary movies, but then after that, they're just nowhere near as good. But I just love them as just a silly, don't take it seriously, kind of slapstick humor in it. And I just love that they're just taking the piss out of slasher movies and whatever kind of movies that were popular at a certain point. Obviously the first one was taking the piss out of Ghostface and Scream, which was brilliant. I absolutely love that film. So I watched that when I got home last night. I watched, this morning, early hours, I watched Scary Movie. So that's probably one of my favorites I like to watch, even though it's not really a horror, it's just a spoof comedy of them. I love my Chucky films. I love my Child's Play. I'm currently watching the new sci-fi series, Chucky series, which I recommend. It is very good. There's 3 episodes currently aired already. I need to watch episode 3 at some point. I haven't watched that yet. In fact, I've got it recorded, so I'm gonna watch that probably tonight or today or some point. So yeah, I really do love Chucky. He's one of my favorites, and then I love the Hellraiser films. Absolutely love Hellraiser. Nightmare on Elm Street. Got to love a bit of Freddy. I love my Jason as well. I love my Michael Myers. I love my I like my Japanese and South Korean horror films as well. And currently, as I showed you earlier, I dressed up as a Squid Game participant for the Halloween party last night, and so I've been watching Squid Game, which is really good. But yeah, I really like South Korean horror. They just seem to have it. They just seem to understand that medium, and I just feel like American horror films are just stuck in a similar kind of formula where everything just feels the same. Um, I just, it's kind of like one of those things is that I just feel like a lot of the horror films that America are producing are just they're just the same. They're just samey. So yeah, I mean, so there's the question to you guys. What are your favorite horror films that you generally do enjoy watching? And will you be watching any over this weekend, or have you already watched some over this weekend? So like I was saying, I watched Scary Movie last night, which is a horror movie spoof film, which was really cool. I love that film. And I'm currently watching Chucky, the new sci-fi series, TV series for Chucky. I love the original Child's Play films as well and the spin-offs. Um, yeah. What else do I really enjoy? I like the really obscure stuff where they use like really nice physical effects, like say if it's a zombie film or if someone's face is getting melted off or something like that, and it's basically just like a wax, like it's basically just kind of like wax that's melting, and and like the blood, and I just absolutely love that stuff. It's very corny for today's standards, but yeah, I just absolutely love that kind of horror. I love psychological. I love my psychological horror, and I like my torture horror as well. Like a lot of stuff that you know, very gory stuff, and I love my zombie films like George A. Romero stuff and that. So yeah, I mean, I do. I'm a big avid fan of horror, especially the cult classics. I'm a big fan of them. Raymond, he's in. He says, I love the old 70s and 80s horrors, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Elm Street, Exorcist, yes. And one you never hear people mention, House. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that one either. What's that one about? That House? What's it about? Decepticon King, hello. Glad that you could make it, my friend. All hail, the king is in the chat. Yes. So yes, glad to have you in here, Decepticon King. I know it's a little bit earlier to what I usually do. I usually do stuff like this a bit later in the evening. But like I say, I'm at work in morning, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just do a live stream earlier than normal, get it out the way, have a little chat. Because the reason why I'm doing this live stream is because like I said, I attempted to do one about a week or two ago, and I had really bad connection problems with the internet. My internet literally completely dropped, and we basically tried to contact our provider, and we couldn't get through. Basically, the whole system just went completely down, and connectivity shouldn't be too much of a problem for me now because where I'm hardwired into the system. So I've got a hardwired connection now, so it should be a constant connection no matter what. But it's like a very usually quite rare, really. But that was kind of a rare thing. When I was doing my live stream, it was doing fine, and then it kind of dropped out about 2 or 3 times, and then eventually I couldn't load. My dad downstairs, he was watching something on Netflix or something, and that stopped. And then I said to my dad that the internet's completely gone, and he already was aware of it. And then we tried to contact the provider, KCOM, which is ours, and we couldn't get through. So, and then it came out in the local news that loads of businesses and everyone that depend on that service were, had nothing, and thousands of people locally around Hull and surrounding areas were out, were without the internet for about an hour or two, about 2 hours, something like that. So yeah, it was bad. So that's why I'm doing this today, to kind of make up for the last time I tried to do a live stream, because unfortunately technical problems can't be helped. You cannot be helped. Decepticon Queen. The Queen is awake. Hello to you, Decepticon Queen. How are you? Raymond House is a horror/comedy movie series starring William Catt from Greatest American Hero fame. Interesting. Let's check it out. Decepticon Queen. I'm a fan of old horrors like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and modern ones like Saw. Nice one. I do love my Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of my favorites. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, was actually the very first horror film I ever watched. And I only watched it out of complete curiosity because my mum and dad, they went to bed, and this is when I was about 12, 13 bracket. And basically my mum and dad had gone to bed, and then I was downstairs. This was obviously a weekend or some time off from school, probably Halloween, I don't know. And then basically my mum shouted down the stairs suddenly and said, whatever you do, don't go to this so channel, because there's a film on and I don't want you to watch it. It's not nice. So my mum shouldn't have said anything. But I'm kind of glad she did, because she brought the awareness to this medium that was horror films. I had absolutely no idea really properly back then. I didn't really venture into that kind of thing at that time. And then obviously I turned it over to the channel she said, and obviously it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and then it was at the point where that lass gets put on the hook. And I literally watched the rest of it from then on, and I was like, "This is brutal," and I just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with that type of horror. So yeah, I absolutely love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Raymond, the problem with recent horror media is that they are made to make money, and usually fail because they make them just to make money. Yeah, exactly. There's no love in it anymore. It's just this formula that they've come up with, and they're not willing to come away from that, if you know what I mean. They're not willing to kind of break up that structure that they're going through. And that's why I'm a big fan of South Korean and Japanese horror. And not just them, there are other countries around the world that do horror that probably are pretty good as well, like Swedish horror and whatever. But basically, I mean, Japanese horror and South Korean horror, like I love Train to Busan. I think it's called The Fog or The Mist or something. And then in Japan, obviously you've got the Ju-on the Grudge, and then they've got the Ring films, and you've got all that stuff, which is, I mean, The Grudge is very psychological, and it's a film. The original, the first two Grudge films are fantastic. The originals I'm on about, not the American remakes, the original Japanese ones. They are fantastic, those films. The Grudge films are brilliant. And I remember watching The Grudge for the first time, and it literally, I do not scare very, very easily when it comes to films. I'm quite used to horror films now. But back then when I first watched it, it really just how psychological it was, and how the main entity, that the woman and the boy and everything, the child and everything, how she kind of contorted herself and come down the stairs and you hear the cracking and all that stuff, and it just stays with you. And then I had after watching that film for the first time, if like the attic, like the loft hatch was open, it would freak me the hell out because I could just see her face kind of coming out as if she was going to come and kill me or get me. But yeah, I love horror films that stay with you. They have this thing where it's psychological, it goes straight in there and you never forget it. And it's very rare that you get examples like that with horror films now. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, there are some that have come out recently that are actually pretty good, but for the most part, I just think South Korea and Japan, they are leading the way when it comes to horror, and America are just stuck in this rut. Like Raymond is saying there, it's just simply to make money. There's no pleasure in it at all at the moment. I think the whole pleasure, because the true classic horror films were all independent films. They were made by independent movie makers. So like, your Wes Craven, your George A. Romero, and then, you've got your, all the others, you know what I mean? They were independent filmmakers that wanted to kind of make a film and come into the horror industry and just elevate it like they did. And, it's basically like those movie makers, they were independent movie makers and they just had the freedom to do whatever they wanted and to show, to give us what they gave us, and brilliant. But now it's gone corporate, and the difference is when you get a studio that is just domineering the decision making and taking a lot of the decision making away from the director, from on the producers and that. You're getting that a lot now with horror, and it's becoming more of a corporate thing than an independent thing. I'm much more of a fan of independent horror rather than the whole corporate thing where it's the studio that are completely dominating the decision making when it should be the director. He's been given that job, that position to direct the film, and it should be his portrayal of what that film should be. But yet, he's just a figurehead. He's just a guy to put on the poster to get bums on seats. They're just using him as a tool, for instance. They're just using him as a device to anchor and to get people, converse people into the cinema, just to make money. And yet the film itself is just shit because it's just the studio or whatever, the people behind the film, they're the ones that are saying, right, we want it to do this, we want that, we don't want this, we don't want that, we want to keep it at 12, we want to keep it at 15, and we want to kind of lukewarm it so that anyone can go to see it. And I'm like, my argument to you guys is that to these people, these corporate people, is that horror is not meant for kids. It's not a family movie in the same sense of, say, go to see Toy Story or A Bug's Life or Star Wars or whatever. It's not a family movie. Horror is not a family movie. It's an adult movie because there is a lot of stuff in there that could psychologically damage a young child if there was to watch it at a certain age. They're seeing people being bludgeoned to death. They're seeing people being stabbed, decapitated, skinned alive, whatever it may be. They are seeing stuff. They are seeing something that they will probably think is real, and it could psychologically damage a young person of a certain age. And that is the reason why they are marketed at an older demographic, but yet these corporate people, they are giving them like 12A or 12 ratings or 15 ratings so that young kids are able to see them, and they're just watering them down. They're watering down everything that makes a horror film good. The suspense, the build-up, everything about it, and the psychological side of things, all that stuff, that's all watered down, and it's just, let's just make it dark, gritty, put a demon in there, and that's the American horror films today, and that's basically it. Don't get me wrong, I love my demon and ghost stories. I love that stuff. I believe in ghosts and demons, and I believe in the paranormal, basically. And, I believe in that stuff. And there has been some real accounts that, of course, have, been used as a template, if you will, to make some of these horror films based on true events. But yeah, this is why I'm a big fan of independent filmmakers and foreign movies, because from other countries or whatever, because they just seem to understand it. They understand the medium, and there doesn't seem to be any. Doesn't really seem to be any. There doesn't seem to be any studio takeover when it comes to the decision making. It looks like in foreign horror movies or movies in general, it seems to be that director, he gets the full thing. What that director wants and how he wants his movie to come over, that's how it's going to be, and that's how it should be. And it's the same with Terminator Salvation, for instance, and with MGM. MGM, they literally, and also with the RoboCop remake, those two films could have been much, much better if there could have been much better films if basically for instance there would have been much better films if the director was allowed to have creative input, and they wasn't. The director for Terminator Salvation, and the director for the RoboCop remake, obviously, I think they were both done by MGM. MGM completely dominated the decision making. They would not allow any creative input from the directors at all, and that's why we ended up with this big corporate load of bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind Salvation. I don't hate that film. I just think it could be better. It could have been much better than it was, and not as obvious. And then obviously the RoboCop remake, again, I don't mind that film, but yet I much prefer the originals. I absolutely love the original RoboCop films. But anyway, let's move on with the comments here. That went on a bit of a tangent there. I apologise. Where are we? There we go. Raymond. One of my few recent horror shows I liked was Ash vs. Evil Dead. Yeah, that's a series I haven't finished. I wanted to watch that series. I started it. I think I watched a good majority of the first series, but then when I heard that it got cancelled after season 3 or season 2 or something, and I just didn't pick it up because obviously it got cancelled. It didn't get a proper ending. At least I don't think so anyway. So that's why I never really went back. But that is a series I definitely want to check out. I love the Evil Dead films. The Zedskun Queen. We are about to watch Texas Chainsaw. I first saw it when I was 14. And my then stepdad had it on DVD. I was told not to watch it. Being a teenager, I did, and it was great. Yeah. So... did you know Texas Chainsaw was based on a true story of Ed Gein? Yes, I did indeed. Ed Gein, he what he did, it actually kind of inspired quite a lot. If you really look into it, it wasn't just Texas Chainsaw Massacre that he there's quite a lot of really well-known movies, horror films that are based on Ed Gein. I know that. Raymond, Frankenweenie is an excellent horror movie that is meant for kids. Paranorman is another such movie. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I get where you're going from. Basically, you've got horror movies that I would call horror movies, as in very gory, people being tortured, basically, and all that kind of stuff, and being ripped apart. That's stuff you don't want your kids to see at a certain age. But yes, Paranorman, Frankenweenie, All those kind of more centered towards a younger demographic. Those films are brilliant. I love Paranorman, absolutely love Paranorman. I love anything by Leica Animation. I fucking love Leica stuff. They're brilliant. Um, they understand it. Again, it's these there are people that are left to their own devices, and their stories that have been told how they want to tell them, and they'll get in no corporate bullshit telling them no, you can't do that, you can't do this, and that's why it's good. Raymond, I don't know if this news reached outside of the Netherlands. Recently, Paul Verhoeven said that he is working on making a sequel to his RoboCop movie. He only needs the green light to go into production. Interesting. That would be interesting to get the original RoboCop director back for a sequel. That would be interesting. But yet we don't really need any more RoboCops, at least not based on the same version of him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the thing is, the new RoboCop, the newer one, I actually don't mind it. I actually quite enjoyed it. I like the idea that they're bringing RoboCop not from the 80s. They're bringing him into the new generation. They're basically reintroducing him to a new jet demographic and a new era of a new generation of people, kids or whatever. The only problem is that one of the big problems I have is that it's not an 18 rated movie, because RoboCop was very explicit. There's two versions, obviously. There's a theatrical version, and there was another version which was a uncut version, because of how very, very gory and everything it was. They had for some people that were a little bit sensitive, I believe they had to release a censored version where the gore factor to certain elements, like when Murphy gets killed, and then when that guy gets shot by a Ed 209, those factors and everything, and that guy gets, basically certain bits were a little bit more dulled down in a censored version. And then obviously, of course, I've got the uncut version because, your boy likes his gore and your boy likes his physical effects when it comes to that kind of thing. I love physical effects over CGI. Don't get me wrong, if CGI is done well and it looks seamless, I've got no problem with it. But I love practical effects. Absolutely love practical effects in movies. That's why I'm a big fan of Star Wars and anything like that, that use physical props and something to work with and little models. That is all like it's just brilliant. I mean, obviously now the ships and everything aren't models anymore in the same sense, they are computer generated. But obviously back in the original George Lucas day, the original trilogy, they obviously used little models, and they kind of did the whole camera trick to kind of makes it look like they were much bigger. But yet there wasn't. It was just basically kind of like small little models that were built, which was really clever. And obviously they're not the only ones that have done that. There's been other shows that have used models, like obviously like Jerry Anderson, for instance. He was well known for using little miniature models, cars and ships and things that they made for Thunderbirds and Sea Spirit, Sea Spirit, and whatever else, Captain Scarlet, etc. So so it's been done before, but I absolutely love that. I love the practical props and practical effects. Brilliant. Raymond, you basically have three genres of Halloween, in my opinion. Horror for the whole family, gothic for the dark and mythical genre, then the slashers. Yeah, it's all broken down now. I mean, like I say, when I was growing up, slashers was all the rage. During the 90s, obviously I had the Scream, which really kind of was big back then when I was younger. So you had Scream, and then obviously slashers have been around since before Scream, obviously. Obviously, we know with Jason and Michael Myers and so on, Chucky and so on. But no, I mean, I kind of, I absolutely love slasher films. They are among my favourites. But yeah, again, slasher films have been done to so much that even again, slasher films, there's no creativity with them anymore. I feel. And that's another thing. You see, that's another thing. It's like horror in general, whatever it may be, whether it's a slasher film or whatever. There's been loads of slasher films that have come out very recently, and they are rubbish. They are absolutely shit. So I'm going to stick with my personal choices. Raymond again. Paul Verhoeven. Yeah. Paul Verhoeven said he hated the remake. Yeah, I remember seeing something about that, which inspired him to write an outline for a sequel to his original movie. Yeah, I heard that he didn't like the new one. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the fans of the original RoboCop films don't like it. I'm an open-minded person. You know, I like to give things a chance. I will happily go and I will watch something, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. If I do, I do. It's one of those things, you know. Everyone has the right to be like that and see things in that way. But but you know, yeah, I remember he wasn't very much of a fan. But I mean, I don't mind new RoboCop. I mean, I get where they went with it, but yeah, it was watered down. It was obviously it was marketed more at young kids when it really, like, the original was an 18 rated, which it should have been. It should have been 18 rated again. But saying that, they did market RoboCop in the 90s with the animated series they did, and they actually produced toys for kids. And same with Terminator and anything what was actually more meant for an older demographic, like young adult to full adult, you know, that kind of demographic. Those movies were kind of, you know, that they made toy lines out of them for kids. So it's not the first time that obviously RoboCop obviously has been kind of marketed towards young kids as well, because obviously they made comic books and I think in video games and all sorts of stuff over the years that were aimed at a younger demographic. But yet the movie itself, there wasn't old enough to see. You know, it's one of those things. It's all corporate again, making money off of it. The remake was not a bad movie. It was just a horrible RoboCop movie. Yeah, I mean, if you took the RoboCop name away from it and call it something else, then yeah, it'd probably be acceptable. But the fact that they called it RoboCop, yeah, it didn't really. It didn't hold a candle to the original, or the original two. I love the first two. The third one, yeah, let's just call it RoboCop with a jetpack. Yeah, no thank you. It was quite pretty funny though. It was pretty funny. Right then, people, I think I'm probably going to come to an end now. I'm probably going to wind things down. It's been a good stream. Had a fair few couple of people come into the chat while I've been on. So thank you to Raymond, to Zero Bunny, to Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000, to Smizner, and to Decepticon King, Decepticon Queen. Yeah, thank you to everybody that joined me in the end. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of your time out this afternoon while watching me. So yeah, this has just been a little stream on Halloween weekend. to make up for the last time, because obviously I had to delete the last one, so this is to make up for that. The last stream I tried to do. But yeah, so I'm going to chill out, enjoy the rest of my day before going back to work tomorrow. And probably, maybe, I don't know, later I might watch a horror film. I don't know what yet, but we'll see. But for the meantime, I don't know, I might maybe go for a walk, chill out for a bit. I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. But thank you again to Raymond. Thanks. Have a good night. I will indeed. Thank you very much. So yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend while it's still here, and I will see you soon. Bye bye now.